All right, guys, I got the new processor in the computer. I've got the new power supply. The RAM sticks are in, and everything seems to be good to go. So it turned out to be a very, very good day. A game that's not having such a good day, though, is Concord, a game that we've talked about in detail for weeks now, it feels like. And of course, there's been a lot of controversy over the fact that they had their closed beta, which was a disaster, and then, last week they had their open beta, which was even worse. Couldn't get more than 2,400 people to play it. I looked into playing the game, and I'm like, I'm not going to make a PlayStation account just to try a beta for a game that I'm never going to play again. So a lot of things have contributed to the fact that this game has just been dead on arrival. And even going back a week, VG247 here saying, you really shouldn't have already written off Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC. It's the fascinating mix of Team Fortress 2 and Destiny that you never knew you needed. So again, I'm always wary when somebody says you never knew you needed this, but here's why you need it, right? But of course, the Steam numbers don't lie. The beta didn't hit 2,400 people at its peak, and this was open to the public. You did not have to pay for this game. This was free to play. Try it out. Nobody would do it. And of course, a lot of the ideology going into this game has been covered extensively by Smash JT and a lot of other commentators, talking about how this Firewalk studio is just it's infiltrated with wokeness from head to toe. Unfortunately, people like this, one of these developers who likes to be called the professor and identifies as non-binary, as well as other members of their team that are extremely politically left-leaning and very vocal about it, have contributed to this game just putting out these horrifyingly awful-looking characters, and of course they have these pronouns nonsense going on. It's a cringe fest, guys. And the reality is there are so many other games that are free to play that do this better. Nobody wants to waste their time with this game. Now we have these numbers from that Park Place saying that apparently the Concord open beta player count declined by 8% on PlayStation compared to its early access beta. Now this is huge because a lot of these numbers we do not get reports on due to the fact that we just don't have access to the information. If you remember, we have Steam numbers because Steam, it's a lot easier to track these numbers. But if you try to get Nintendo or Xbox or PlayStation to tell you their player numbers, you're never going to get that information. But luckily, we have this report claiming that Firewalk Studio Concord Open Beta had 8% less players than that its early access beta on PlayStation. And here you have this article saying, Kess Eilers Stevenson at True Trophies reports that the open beta, which ran from July 18th to the 21st, had 8% less players than the much more restricted early access beta that ran from July 12th. So here's the crazy thing. If this is to be believed, this is true. Unlike the Steam open beta, where people had to get a key or they had to know somebody who had it, who had an extra key that they could play, and of course you had to have pre-ordered the game to get your initial key to play the locked beta. Well, then they had the open access beta, which doubled the player numbers, to almost 2,400 people. According to this report, the PlayStation numbers declined between the closed beta and the open beta. So it says Firewalk Studios initially limited the early access beta to those that had pre-ordered the game. However, it opened up to the PlayStation Plus subscribers. Nevertheless, the open beta was available to all players on PS5 and PC. Stevenson writes, using a gameplay data sample from over 3.1 million active PSN accounts, courtesy of our partnership with Game Insights, we can see that Concord has 8.1% fewer players in the second open beta than in the early access beta. Absolutely mind-blowing. So what that tells me is people who purchased the game and somehow got access to the early access beta chose not to come back for the open beta on PlayStation. That is insanely bad for PlayStation. So it says, he added in our PlayStation chart that ranks the top 40 most popular games every week, Concord ranked in the number 29 position both weeks. Ouch. That is absolutely brutal. This report comes in the wake of the Steam DB data showing that peak concurrent players for the game only hit 2,400 people on Steam. And again, that was just a complete disastrous shit show. And again, you compare that to the beta that was closed, you had a peak concurrent of 1,117 players. So at least on Steam, between the closed and the open beta, they were able to double their numbers. But still, that is abysmal. It says the game's early access beta only hit a peak concurrent player base of 1,124, and that means the player base actually increased by 112%. Again, that is a huge increase compared to the PlayStation numbers. And the funniest thing about it is, this is supposed to be one of these games that that the market needs. They need this for the modern audience. They need this for people who want to, see themselves represented in these games by having pronoun nonsense and having the unattractive, overweight looking characters. And you have all these other outlets trying to shill for this game, still trying to make you convinced that this is the game you wanted. Eurogamer saying PlayStation Live Service Concord won't sell you a battle pass, but would it be more successful if it did? Trying to spin the idea that maybe the issue with the game is that they decided to go with a altruistic $40 price tag instead of, a continual battle pass situation, which again, I think you can only put so much blame on the entire battle pass versus purchasing a game outright concept. The reality is there are plenty of free-to-play games that have battle passes that don't necessarily have customers spending hundreds of dollars on them that are successful games. And then, of course, you have the gamers saying Concord and Marvel Rivals are two sides of the same doomed coin. The hero shooter genre is already oversaturated. Marvel Rivals is seeing a burst of popularity from more casual players, but they won't stick around. Meanwhile, Concord is aiming at hardcore players, but not enough are leaving their main game to try it out. Yeah, that's the really pitiful thing for this game. They couldn't get people to take a break from Call of Duty or Apex Legends or Destiny or First Descendant or any of these other games that are currently dominating the charts to try this game for a day, for a few hours out of their day even. Of course, you've got Push Square saying Concord's seemingly unlimited promo budget now includes animated shorts. Why not? Trying to push the idea that, Sony, to their credit, has apparently unlimited money to spend on this crap. And hey, even if the game's going to be a bust, at least kudos on them for trying something big. It's like, no, that's not the way it works. If you want to make money as a company, which is the entire, point, you have to create something that the customer wants, and then you can spend money on it. You don't create something that's going to cost you millions of dollars over the course of several years on a game that nobody's playing. And Destructoid is the funniest one here, saying Concord is solid hero shooter, but it's the characters who make it fantastic. Same shooter, more heart. The thing that is heavily criticized by so many people is these characters. And again, they've talked about for a long time how they're going to have these weekly cutscenes that they update and how wonderful it's going to be to have, the backstory for all these characters. But then Destructoid goes on to say that literally the Concord characters continue to add more personality to the game over time as you play more and more matches. In most game modes, you can pick and change your character with every respawn. This allows you to see them, their abilities, and their cheesy intro lines multiple times in every match. Every character is unique and really stands out from the crowd through the way they speak, their abilities, and what they wear. Tio might be your average soldier, but his eagerness to jump into battle, rifle effectiveness, and speed tell the tale of a hothead who wants a little more glory from life than guarding stores or working in the military. Concord is also one of the few hero shooters that assigns pronouns to its characters. This might seem small and trivial to you, but small elements like this really do matter and help players identify with each hero on a deeper level. It's hard to know what gender a mushroom creature and a cleaning robot identify with, and having that on screen means you can feel a lot closer to these shells that you wear as you jump into various game modes over the course of what might end up being hundreds of hours. So yeah, pronouns good, fun characters good, cringy dialogue good. I mean, look, guys, the reality is, this is a game that I had no interest in playing. I think most people felt the same way. It's like, it's whatever, it just looks boring, it looks meh. But the reality is adding pronouns to it does not add any depth. Nobody's going to suddenly go, oh my god, I feel seen because this robot creature or this ugly ass dude with this red face paint suddenly has pronouns. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all this Concord mess. This has been fantastic to cover, but I think we are coming to the end of this story because at this point, until it releases, we're not going to know a whole lot more. But once it is, it's going to be dead on arrival. Anyways, guys, I am going to be live streaming Monday night. Hope to see you guys there. I will catch you on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have two channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.